Rheumatoid arthritis pain, central sensitization, fibromyalgia, and upper cervical chiropractic care. What do they all have to do with each other? Dr. Slagel and I discuss his research and more on this episode of the Upper Cervical Chiropractic Research Show. You can find the overview and summary on my YouTube channel. Hi there, I'm Dr. Kevin Leach here with the Chiropractic Deep Dive Podcast, bringing you the most important research and information on conservative primary spine care, upper cervical chiropractic care, and traditional chiropractic care. These research reviews, interviews, and episodes are made for you, whether you're a medical doctor, patient, or concerned family member or friend. The goal of these shows is to bring awareness of the importance of taking care of our spine and the impact it has on our health and the hundreds of different health conditions it could cause without us realizing it. I'm really trying to bring value with these, so I'd appreciate commenting on the videos, hitting the like button, and sharing them with as many people as you can. You never know who might need to see it. And consider subscribing to the channel so you can see all the other episodes and videos coming out. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your support. Now on to the show. Okay, welcome back everyone to the Upper Cervical Chiropractic Research Show. This is episode number 11. I'm Dr. Kevin Leach, and with me for the first time is Dr. Jason Slagel. He is the author of today's research that we'll be reviewing. Dr. Slagel is a NUCCA doctor who practices in South Florida. Dr. Slagel has his level 1 NUCCA certification and currently working on his level 2, and he is the proud husband and father of 2 little boys and a pregnant wife at home. Thanks for joining me today. How are you, sir?
Hey, staying busy. Yeah. How are you? You good?
Well, thank you. So this episode's research review is titled Resolution of Headaches, Neck Pain, and 90% Improvement of Rheumatoid Arthritis Pain in a 59-year-old male undergoing upper cervical subluxation-based NUCCA chiropractic care, a case report. And that is, like I said, published by Jason Slagel in the Journal of Upper Cervical Chiropractic Research, which is a McCoy press. So, Dr. Slagel, before we kind of, go into any sort of detail, you want to just give us a 50,000 foot, what did you find in the patient, and just kind of give us an overview?
Yeah, for sure. So this guy came to me mostly for headaches and neck pain, which we see all the time in NUCCA. And after the first adjustment, he never had any headaches or neck pain ever again, which is cool, but not like, too noteworthy. The really cool thing in this case is his rheumatoid arthritis pain went down 90% after the first correction. He was able to get off all of his pain meds and everything like that. So that's why I decided to write it up, because I was like, this is interesting. What's going on here?
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So why don't you give us a little bit, if anyone's watching this, they're either probably interested in upper cervical chiropractic care, or maybe they even have RA, they've got some RA pain. So maybe give just a little bit of a background on the RA as a condition.
Yeah. So RA is a chronic inflammatory autoimmune condition. Okay. So what that means is that NUCCA doesn't cure it, right?
Right.
It's just NUCCA's not designed to do that. Rheumatoid arthritis is something different. So what rheumatoid arthritis does is it actually damages the synovial joint lining throughout the whole body, which is important for when we talk later about mechanisms of why the rheumatoid pain went down. Rheumatoid arthritis, we'll just call it RA, because that's a mouthful to say rheumatoid arthritis over and over. So RA typically starts peripherally and works centrally. So you'll notice people with RA have the pannus in their fingers, right? Like the crooked fingers or feet, and then it works centrally from there. As far as medical management of rheumatoid arthritis, there's basically 3 approaches to it. None of them include like a cure for rheumatoid arthritis, because there's not a cure. They have to do with, the first one is they try to lessen the pain. Okay, so pain management is a big one. Another one is they try to force remission so that they don't have flare-ups. Okay, so force remission and avoid flare-ups is the third one. So those 3 things are basically just to manage pain, manage flare-ups so that it's not as horrible as it could be.
Which has value in and of itself.
Yes, absolutely. And I, anybody with rheumatoid arthritis should be seeing their RA doctor,
Right.
and not be relying on a NUCCA doctor for their care for their rheumatoid, for
Right.
sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Great. Well, give us a little detail about this specific patient and what you found.
Yeah. So he's a 59-year-old male, came in with neck pain and headaches as the main things. He also had tinnitus, or ringing in his ears, foot pain, low back pain, elbow pain, knee pain, hip pain, leg pain, just like, name it, whatever joint you want to name, he probably had pain there.
Yeah.
Now, the really interesting thing about his history that caught my attention right away when he came in was 15 years ago, he got hit by a car. Like, he was walking and he got hit by a car, not like a car crash, but
Yeah.
he's
Okay.
walking, he gets hit by a car. The car was going about 40 miles an hour. He gets hit by the car. And that was 15 years ago. That's when his headaches and neck pain started. I mean, of course, right?
Right.
You're going to
Big
have
surprise
that.
there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, though, at the same time, that's when all of his rheumatoid pain amplified. So whole body, full body rheumatoid pain, all amplified, all at that same time.
Yeah.
That's when he started actually seeing a rheumatoid doctor or rheumatologist. That's when he started seeing his rheumatologist on a consistent basis, because that's when his rheumatoid arthritis actually got bad. So then that caught my attention right away, because I'm like, wait a minute. So headaches and neck pain from a major whiplash injury, and then all the pain amplifies. Okay, so we can talk about that kind of as a mechanism later of what I think was possibly going on with this.
Well, let's get into that, because obviously 90% improvement in that pain, NUCCA helped. Obviously, again, with headaches, neck pain, we see that get helped with NUCCA all the time. But what do you think some of the mechanisms were in addressing his craniocervical junction with getting those results with that RA pain?
Yeah. So the major one that I want to really harp on here, and why I actually wrote the paper, was to look at what's called central sensitization, or central pain syndrome is another word for it. So this is really interesting. I think that we see this a lot more in practice than we realize. I think this is what's going on with a lot of people who have concurrent conditions like rheumatoid arthritis or whatever else. So the basic idea is pretty simple. When you have some type of an accident or an injury that shifts the head and neck out of place, it can start to put pressure on the brainstem and tamper with the function of the brainstem, which can impact anything in the body at that point. So the way that it works with some people is the pain signals being sent up from their body, right? We talked about rheumatoid arthritis. It starts from the periphery and moves centrally. So the pain that they feel like in their fingers, let's say, is, let's just say, like a 2 out of 10. What happens is that the signal from the nerve gets sent all the way up the arm, all the way up the neck, and then it has to pass through the brainstem. It has to pass through the brainstem before it gets to the brain to get interpreted. But if something is tampering with the function of the brainstem, if the head and neck are shifted out of place, it actually can amplify that pain when it goes through the brainstem. Okay, so think of nerves. This is how I explain it to patients. Think of nerves like rubber tubes. So if you put tension on a rubber tube, it's going to make it more narrow. And if you compress a rubber tube, things aren't going to flow as well through it. Okay, so something is going on up here at the brainstem that's either compressing or putting tension on the nerves there. And that pain signal, the 2 out of 10, gets amplified to like an 8 out of 10. So their brain senses 8 out of 10 and they're in a ton of pain. So then all we do is we correct the pressure off and get the pressure off the brainstem. Suddenly they're feeling the pain at a 2 out of 10. Not because we fixed anything with the rheumatoid arthritis, but because now they're actually feeling the appropriate amount of pain again.
Got it. Now, is that the central part, the central sensitization? Is that referring to the brainstem and where that?
So in this case, So there's different things that can cause central sensitization. Like if you have a tumor in your spinal cord, and then that's pressing on nerves, that can cause central sensitization as well. But it's the same type of thing, compression or tension on the central nervous system. So we're talking about the brainstem in particular, because that's what we deal with in NUCCA is the brainstem area. So in that case, for him, that's what I think was going on. And I think that this is a really good tool, not only for NUCCA doctors to understand what's going on with patients when we see weird things like this, but also it's a really good tool for explaining things to patients. So if a patient says, "Can you help me with rheumatoid arthritis?" the answer can be, well, if you have central sensitization with rheumatoid arthritis, then absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now I see, I know there's a little bit maybe of possible confounding between the central sensitization and fibromyalgia. Do
Yeah.
you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is just conjecture, right? Because nobody has proven this one way or the other. But with fibromyalgia, there's pain points all over the body, right? It's a whole holistic type of a pain syndrome, with nothing wrong with those areas of pain. There's feeling pain. So what that leads me to believe is that it's something more central, like central sensitization. So let's say that they're, that they maybe their pain nerve endings, the nociceptors, are more sensitive than the average person. Okay, everybody's a little bit different, and then they get like a little pin prick or something that's super light that wouldn't bother somebody else. That pain signal can get amplified, right? And then all of a sudden they start feeling a bunch of different pain things that they shouldn't be feeling. So when we get the pressure off the brainstem and then we allow them to feel the appropriate amount of pain,
Yeah.
suddenly we have decreased levels of pain. So fibromyalgia is a good example. And then there's, a handful of other different conditions where this can happen with.
Yeah. On the fibromyalgia thing, I mean, obviously there's a lot of different explanations out there that could go on for the fibromyalgia, but I know that the producer of the Power of Upper Cervical, do you know about that video that they did? It was a documentary on upper cervical that Upper Cervical Health Centers did.
Yeah, it's great.
It was the producer's wife who got help, like significant help with the fibromyalgia. And
right.
It's when we think about the mechanism of what we're doing with the craniocervical junction, when we correct it and we see improvements, we like the easy explanation of, oh, we're getting the body back to functioning the way that it's supposed to. The body can start to heal and function the way that it's supposed to. But I like to know, and I'm just, you seem to like to know, like, what's the real explanation and what's the mechanism behind that? And that central sensitization idea, it makes so much sense, because especially with these the fibromyalgia patients, they have these pain points where you're like, you're not doing anything to have pain points there. It's not like you're doing repetitive motions or things like that, but you're super sensitive. But in the contrast with the RA patients, they do have reason to have that pain. And so when you have, for both conditions, when you have that upper cervical subluxation, that craniocervical misalignment on top of that, on top of whatever's going on there, that's going to cause some issues. So.
Yeah, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to write this up when I was thinking through it, is because this paper honestly is not that much about rheumatoid arthritis as much as I would love for it to be a springboard to talk more about central pain syndrome or central sensitization, because that's applicable all across the board. And if we can get that nailed down and figure out who potentially has central sensitization and who doesn't, then we can tell people with a lot more certainty, yes, I can help you, or whatever, either way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. So any last thoughts on just kind of what, you pretty much just summed it up there and what we could get out of the paper, but do you have any other last thoughts on just the significance of this and where future research might lead?
So I would love to see this play out with fibromyalgia, like what we talked about. I would love to see this play out with a few other conditions, certain types of cancer where patients are in pain. Maybe they're in more pain than they need to be, right? Maybe they shouldn't be feeling that much pain. Being in some pain with certain types of cancer is going to happen, but maybe they don't need to be in nearly as much pain as they are. Also, there's different things like, we talked about fibromyalgia, other types of arthritis as well, right? There's different things like when people are in alignment and they break a bone, I'd love to see the reported pain levels when they're in alignment and break a bone versus people who are out of alignment, who have similar types of fractures and things like that.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. Just that central sensitization brings up, it's a huge variable in almost any research. If you think about it, like any sort of thing, if you have that confounding the results of any sort of research.
I mean, pick your favorite condition and then add in central sensitization, and it's that much worse. Yeah. So for this guy in particular that I wrote this paper on, he reported a 90% improvement. Okay, so let's just put some numbers to it just for fun. Let's say he had a 9.5 out of 10 pain level all over his body and in the joints. The 90% improvement would be somewhere around 5% then afterwards. So 5% is about the pain that he should be feeling from his rheumatoid arthritis, right? And so when you think of it that way, then it's like you look at a patient, you're like, okay, how much pain are they in? How much pain, based on my experience, should they be in? And if it's more than what you think they should be, probably central sensitization, which is great because once you get the pressure off the brainstem, you typically see a dramatic drop in the pain levels quickly, which is great for everybody. Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate your time. And I know we're going to have you on an episode soon. So we'll see you then.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is fun.
Absolutely. Take care. Okay, that's it for this episode. So what did you learn that fascinated you or surprised you about the research today? Join or start the conversation in the comments below. Hey, thanks so much for watching. To watch more of our research shows, click or tap the screen right there. To subscribe to the channel, click or tap the screen right there. Until next time, I'm Dr. Kevin Leach with the Upper Cervical Chiropractic Research Show, bringing awareness to conservative primary spine care, upper cervical chiropractic care, and traditional chiropractic. Until next time, take care and take care of your spine. It's the only one you'll ever have.